Cardiovascular system anatomy. The cardiovascular system consists of the heart, blood vessels, and the approximately 5 liters of blood that the blood vessels transport. The heart is a muscular pumping organ located medial to the lungs along the body's midline in the thoracic region. The bottom tip of the heart, known as its apex, is turned to the left, so that about 2/3 of the heart is located on the body's left side with the other 1/3 on right. The top of the heart, known as the heart's base, connects to the great blood vessels of the body, the aorta, vena cava, pulmonary trunk, and pulmonary veins. Circulatory loops. There are 2 primary circulatory loops in the human body, the pulmonary circulation loop and the systemic circulation loop. Pulmonary circulation transports deoxygenated blood from the right side of the heart to the lungs, where the blood picks up oxygen and returns to the left side of the heart. The pumping chambers of the heart that support the pulmonary circulation loop are the right atrium and right ventricle. Systemic circulation carries highly oxygenated blood from the left side of the heart to all of the tissues of the body, with the exception of the heart and lungs. Systemic circulation removes wastes from body tissues and returns deoxygenated blood to the right side of the heart. The left atrium and left ventricle of the heart are the pumping chambers for the systemic circulation loop. Blood vessels. Blood vessels are the body's highways that allow blood to flow quickly and efficiently from the heart to every region of the body and back again. The size of blood vessels corresponds with the amount of blood that passes through the vessel. All blood vessels contain a hollow area called the lumen through which blood is able to flow. Around the lumen is the wall of the vessel, which may be thin in the case of capillaries or very thick in the case of arteries. All blood vessels are lined with a thin layer of simple squamous epithelium known as the endothelium that keeps blood cells inside of the blood vessels and prevents clots from forming. The endothelium lines the entire circulatory system, all the way to the interior of the heart, where it is called the endocardium. There are 3 major types of blood vessels: arteries, capillaries and veins. Blood vessels are often named after either the region of the body through which they carry blood or for nearby structures. Arteries and arterioles. Arteries are blood vessels that carry blood away from the heart. Blood carried by arteries is usually highly oxygenated, having just left the lungs on its way to the body's tissues. The pulmonary trunk and arteries of the pulmonary circulation loop provide an exception to this rule. These arteries carry deoxygenated blood from the heart to the lungs to be oxygenated. Arteries face high levels of blood pressure as they carry blood being pushed from the heart under great force. To withstand this pressure, the walls of the arteries are thicker, more elastic, and more muscular than those of other vessels. The largest arteries of the body contain a high percentage of elastic tissue that allows them to stretch and accommodate the pressure of the heart. The smooth muscles of the arterial walls of these smaller arteries contract or expand to regulate the flow of blood through their lumen. The regulation of blood flow also affects blood pressure, as smaller arteries give blood less area to flow through and therefore increases the pressure of the blood on arterial walls. Capillaries. Capillaries are the smallest and thinnest of the blood vessels in the body and also the most common. They can be found running throughout almost every tissue of the body and border the edges of the body's avascular tissues. Capillaries connect to arterioles on one end and venules on the other. Capillaries carry blood very close to the cells of the tissues of the body in order to exchange gases, nutrients, and waste products. Since there is a limited supply of blood, and not all tissues have the same energy and oxygen requirements, the precapillary sphincters reduce blood flow to inactive tissues and allow free flow into active tissues. Veins and venules. Veins are the large return vessels of the body and act as the blood return counterparts of arteries. Because the arteries, arterioles, and capillaries absorb most of the force of the heart's contractions, veins and venules are subjected to very low blood pressures. This lack of pressure allows the walls of veins to be much thinner, less elastic, and less muscular than the walls of arteries. Coronary circulation. The heart has its own set of blood vessels that provide the myocardium with the oxygen and nutrients necessary to pump blood throughout the body. The coronary sinus is a vein on the posterior side of the heart that returns deoxygenated blood from the myocardium to the vena cava. Hepatic portal circulation. The veins of the stomach and intestines perform a unique function. Instead of carrying blood directly back to the heart, They carry blood to the liver through the hepatic portal vein. Blood leaving the digestive organs is rich in nutrients and other chemicals absorbed from food. The liver removes toxins, stores sugars, and processes the products of digestion before they reach the other body tissues. Blood from the liver then returns to the heart through the inferior vena cava,